The journey of any business, whether it's a turnaround as it was in Sainsbury's or the businesses that you're involved in, it must start with your customers. Now, I know that sounds like a bleeding obvious thing to say, and everybody says it, and there's 100 books, if not thousands of books written on the subject, and yet it strikes me again and again and again how many businesses really don't understand that. When I joined Sainsbury's, the marketing department was the biggest department, so obviously they did customers, because marketing had more people. But anyone shopping in Sainsbury's knew that they didn't do customers, because if they did customers, they wouldn't have allowed the experience to be what it was. When I joined Sainsbury's, you do the thing that you know all guys do, which is you tell your mum to look for validation. Now, when I joined M&S, I told my mum, and she cried on the phone. She was so proud that her son was going to M&S. Gave me a really great feeling. So I thought, I'm going to she shopped at Sainsbury's for 45 years. So and it was her wedding anniversary, actually. So over the table, right moment, I said, got some news. I'm going to Sainsbury's. My mum went quiet. She put her hand across the table, like any mums do. She put her hand over there. And she said, are you sure, darling? She said, I shop there every week and it's shit. And kind of, that was the business plan. You know, there was the only customer that really mattered. It was my mum, and she kind of told me everything in a way. My dad, by the way, who's a man of few words, so I didn't get my genes from him, thought about it for a bit longer, and he said, you're going to hold this job down for more than 2 years because you haven't managed that yet. So I had to stay in the job a little bit longer just to prove my dad wrong too. But in that short sentence from my mum, it said everything. This was a business where customers still loved it. You know, kind of deep in their DNA. And yet Sainsbury's were letting it down every single week. And we did this thing. We wrote to 1 million customers in my name. It was a little 4-page thing. It was a free prize draw, you know, first 10 out get a free TV. Now, some of you will be in marketing. Anyone in marketing? Anyone like to hazard a guess? So, 1 million letters. My name's Justin. I've just taken over Sainsbury's. Please tell me what we need to do. How many customers wrote back?
1%.
250,000.
Wow.
Amazing. I mean, just the very fact that 250,000 wrote back tells you all you needed to know. And the tone of voice, I mean, it was this kind of rich tapestry of what we needed to do. But the tone of voice was, please, please sort out this business because we love it. We've loved it over the years. You're letting us down. And if you don't, we'll have to go and shop somewhere else. And if we have to go and shop somewhere else, you're the person we're going to hold responsible for it. Throughout my time, you know, listening to customers, the mechanisms you put in place, and you know, don't allow yourself to believe that new media and technology has changed the dynamic of listening to customers. You know, a letter is worth 1 million tweets. It really is. I truly believe that. And face-to-face worth a lot more than that. I go to shops every Friday, spend time with customers, talking to them in real shops, because you always find out something that you're never going to find any other way. The second part of the journey is colleagues. It's what we in Sainsbury's, what I call the people that I work with, because that's what they are, they're colleagues. I struggle, I don't understand the concept of the word staff. What does that mean? It's intentionally hierarchical, it's pejorative. You know, we mock. I was brought up in the Midlands in the early 1970s. The motor industry was imploding. There was a guy called Red Robbo. There's 1 or 2 of you in the room might remember Red Robbo. You just look and smile. I won't point you out, don't worry. And he led the union in the implosion of British Leyland. And, you know, the sort of classic middle class, you know, articulation of unions in that time of, you know, the sort of spitting out about to management wrecking the company. And yet when you use the word staff, it's intended in completely an equal and opposite way. You know, to staff, to management. Well, guess what? What went wrong with the motor industry? They all forgot. It didn't matter. The enemy wasn't the person you're working for or working with. It was a guy in Japan, and as soon as you work that out, you might have a chance of doing something. And so I think they're colleagues. That's what you work with, and it changes your mindset if you think of people about the people that you work with as colleagues. And we created a lot of mechanisms to give our colleagues a voice and to communicate with them. We had a suggestion scheme imaginatively called Tell Justin. 70,000 suggestions in my time in the company. Actually, my entire time in the company, I responded to every customer letter and email that I received personally over the 10 10 years. That was a promise that I made. My team told me, they did a little piece of maths, it was 2.9 customer letters a day across 3,900 working days, which is the time I spent in Sainsbury's.